The humid night air hung heavy over the streets of New Orleans in the 1920s. As I, Antoinette, a woman with deep roots in the city and a secret darker than the Bayou, set my plan into motion. My soul was burdened by the atrocities I had seen men commit against women, and I could stand it no longer. The magic of my ancestors called out to me, and I knew what I had to do. In the heart of the French Quarter, I resided in a small, inconspicuous cottage. My neighbors knew me as a quiet and reclusive woman, a voodoo practitioner who dabbled in herbs and potions. Little did they know, my powers ran much deeper. I ventured into the bayou under the light of a crescent moon, surrounded by the eerie symphony of frogs and crickets. There, I found a hidden glade, shrouded in mist and mystery. This was where I would perform the ancient ritual, the one passed down through generations of my family, the one that would change the course of history in New Orleans forever. In the center of the glade, I set up an altar adorned with bones, feathers, and flickering candles. A misty haze settled around me as I chanted incantations in the long-forgotten language of my ancestors. I invoked the spirits of vengeance and retribution, pleading with them to heed my call. Hours passed, and just as the clock struck midnight, a spectral figure emerged from the mist. It was Mambo Cecile, a powerful and malevolent spirit. Her eyes glowed with an otherworldly fire, and her voice reverberated through the night. "What do you seek, child of the Bayou?" she hissed. With unwavering determination, I told her of the suffering endured by women at the hands of cruel men in our beloved city. I implored her to grant me the power to change the fate of these men, to make them pay for their sins. Mambo Cecile smiled, revealing rows of sharp, glistening teeth. "I shall grant your request, but it comes at a price," she whispered. I nodded, knowing that the darkness in my heart was a small price to pay for the salvation of my sisters. The ritual intensified, the night alive with unearthly energy. Mambo Cecile and I danced together, our movements a mesmerizing blur. In that moment, I felt the power of generations surging through me, and I channeled it into a wicked curse. As the final words of the incantation left my lips, a deep, resonant moan filled the air, echoing through the bayou. The very ground seemed to tremble as the curse took hold, spreading like wildfire through the city. In the days that followed, New Orleans changed. The men who had once held dominion over women were now reduced to mindless, ravenous zombies. They roamed the streets at night, driven by an insatiable hunger for the flesh of their own kind. The women of New Orleans were finally free from the tyranny of men. They walked the streets with newfound confidence, no longer fearing the shadows. The city became a haven for sisterhood, a place where women could thrive and support one another. As time passed, I watched the consequences of my actions with a heavy heart. The curse had brought justice. It had also brought suffering and darkness. But that is the only language the wicked understand. The city I loved had become a place of fear and despair. I knew that one day the curse would have to be broken. But for now, the women of New Orleans reveled in their newfound freedom, and I, Antoinette, the witch of the Bayou, remained hidden in the shadows, reveling in the curse I had made on that fateful night. But no regrets now. When or if I break the curse, they will all have learned to appreciate womankind. Or else, I will summon my ancestors again and rain hell upon the entire South. They will learn, or we will teach them.